Hello, welcome back, you guys. Here I am dropping a night two review for SummerSlam that happened this past weekend. And I do apologize for delay because I know I said I was going to upload this video on the next day after, but I got caught up in a few things and was unable to do it. But now that I finally got this completed and have this out for you guys, hope you guys enjoy this video. And then as a reminder to follow me on my socials, follow me on Instagram. That is mainly where I'm always updated and always active. Follow me at JaKelXO. Now, to get right into this review for SummerSlam, because let's talk about it. As I explained, night one was very exciting. Night two of SummerSlam was a little unorthodox. Yeah, and Paul Triple H Levesque was sitting in that press conference. Oh, you haven't seen nothing yet. And as I'm watching, I'm just like,
I'm clearly still waiting.
But let's deep dive into this review to let me share my thoughts and opinions. So hopefully you like night two review and let me know down in the comments of what you think. So let's get started. All right. Up first, the opening match with Naomi versus Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky. This match was a banger. This was a great opening match for night two to start things off. And I just absolutely love the energy that they came in with. It was just exciting and electrifying. Naomi and her entrance with her dad was so cool. I know that was a beautiful moment for her that she shared, to be alongside her father coming down the ring and to be her first title defense with the title. This was really good. I definitely love that. Now, to the match details, I love their chemistry. I absolutely love the dynamic of how all of them were going, trading their moves. Io is definitely the most exciting wrestler and is so entertaining to watch. Rhea, I loved how her frustration just kept getting to her, how she just wanted to keep trying and trying because she just cannot get close to getting a win on Io. Also, side note too, I really hope that Rhea never does beat Io. I know how, like, you know, when Bianca, she was undefeated with WrestleMania and unfortunately that streak ended. I really hope with at least Io that Rhea can never beat her. I really hope they snap that. But anyways, back on topic. The match results, I really love how Naomi moved out of the way of Io's moonsault. I love how she was super aware and hyper vigilant. That really added an element to her character because of, you know, hey, she proceeds with caution all the time, so her herself should proceed with caution. My other segment that I absolutely love was Rhea's avalanche riptide. That was my favorite moment as well too. And the roll up with Rhea was quite interesting, even though I wish it wasn't a roll up end. But hey, it just kind of adds a little spice to their feud a little bit. But this was the best match that I really absolutely enjoyed. That's really nothing much to say. This match was just a banger altogether. I really enjoyed every single moment. I was locked in. I have no complaints with this match, but I do hope where this moves forward that Rhea Ripley specifically want to point out with her is that she gets out of the title picture for a moment. I'm not saying forever or never. I just really have become a little tired of seeing Rhea. Like, I love Rhea, but she kind of needs to do something else. Have her on some type of side quest before she revisits coming into the world title picture. I really just would love that Naomi has a spotlight where she can be in a mix of different competitors. Now switching on the brands from SmackDown to Raw. Instead of recycling the same people over and over, let's showcase other women who are great competitors on the Raw division. And so that way Naomi can have better interactions and different interactions with other people. And revisiting the same people is not bad, but just considering this, it would be more beneficial, you know, for the title defense. And then also give a little extra element of Rhea Ripley because her character is kind of stale. It's not versatile enough. But Maybe I can talk about that in another video, how I feel, but let me know what you guys think if you kind of want to hear my extra thoughts on that. But in conclusion, this match was great. I loved it. There's nothing else to say about it. Okay, the next match, the TLC tag team match, was absolutely amazing. This was the second best match because the rest, I don't know what happened. But the triple threat and then following to this one, great. It was absolutely great. This match was so chaotic. It was so much drama that went on. All these teams are really good. Their chemistry was amazing. I'm sorry, that's just my favorite word. Saying chemistry just works in explaining wrestling reviews, because when we're watching as viewers, we have to see the chemistry of these wrestlers, and some people just don't have it. But when you do see multiple people or one-on-one, any type of match that comes on screen, the chemistry just be there and you can feel it and you can see it. And this right here was a banger. Now I do want to talk about just a few spots that I absolutely loved. I really loved how Montez and Angelo redid their back body drop on Joe. That was hilarious. They missed it on the first one. It was like, you know what, never mind, let's run that back, and did it again. That was absolutely hilarious to me. I loved it. I do love the sequence when Montez had pushed the ladder and Candace literally dropped on the other ladder on the other side that was propped up. I was screaming at my TV like, whoa. And then Michael Cole gonna add to his commentary was like, oh, she died. And I'm like, yeah, my girl is gone. I just want to say shout out to her taking that bump. That was absolutely insane. Now the performers that were kind of the MVP for me, I'm gonna say Andrade and Rey Fenix. When they first collab with each other as a tag team, I just knew this was a good idea. Their styles are really good and they complement each other very well. And the way that they were performing in this match seemed like they were really close and be like the next runner up for the tag team belts. I kind of would love to see that too. Would love that a lot. But this match was absolutely insane. It was insane for sure. I'm gonna recycle back what I said earlier about Montez and Candice LeRae, but it was just the best part of the whole match was that sequence of events where Johnny had taken Joe through the table. Dexter Lumis just does a crazy leg drop on Montez, and then you had Axiom hit this crazy Spanish fly onto Angelo, and then that's when Montez knocked over Tommaso Ciampa, causing Gargano to run into the ladder where Candice was at the top, and she falls, and then Uncle Howdy just pushes Johnny Gargano off. That was just absolutely insanity. I was like, this was such a crazy match. That match was the best follow-up after the triple threat. All right, up next is the ladies. Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria for the Intercontinental Championship. This match was questionable. Like, I don't know the other word to describe this matchup. I really don't know. But I do want to point out how Becky's new theme, I'm really liking it. I'm not gonna hold you. I love her old theme song because she's had that for a very long time. But this new one definitely fits the character. I really rocks with it. But Becky and Lyra in this match, okay, I'm gonna talk about the positives first. I really enjoy the spot that Lyra was tied up and was getting hit by the kendo stick. That was a good spot. Not gonna lie. I did like the part where Becky did stump on Lyra when she was between that chair and the announce table. That was fire. The funniest part was when Lyra hit the cameraman by accident. I was kind of mad the cameraman didn't sell it, because if I was him, I would have sold it. But that was funny, and the way she apologized and just went straight back to beating Becky, that was hilarious. I really liked it. For some odd reason, this match, their chemistry wasn't as strongest as they were like in the past when they had their matches against each other. For some odd reason, it was like the pacing wasn't constructed. It just was like, oh, we're moving over here, we're moving over there. It wasn't smooth for some odd reason, like while watching. But the botch that Lyra put her hands back in the zip ties, they could have really just played that off. I was like, girl, you was free. I saw that. You didn't think we was gonna see that? I was like, but it's okay. The match still ended up being okay. It was just kind of wonky to me, but I can't complain because they still executed the moves very well. But it was just won't hit in the way that it usually would. But Bayley coming out was kind of odd, and I'm not meaning that it didn't make sense. Bayley coming out between them two, where she has rivals, but with both of them, it was just much more is that Bayley's part of interfering didn't make sense. Like, Becky was like, oh yeah, go ahead and hit Lyra. Why didn't you? What made you hesitate? But now that you want to meet Becky, you have beef with both of them. So it's just like, why are you trying to pick sides right now? That's the part that was kind of confusing me as I was watching. She could have just straight out the gate attacked Becky if that was the case, instead of hesitating hitting Lyra. That didn't make any sense. I mean, if that was y'all was thinking, that's what I was thinking while watching. It just didn't make sense. But overall, this match was okay. It wasn't the strongest. It was kind of too long. On top of that, it could have shortened just like a bit, like 5 minutes, and it probably would have ended up being better. Already up next is Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles. I really don't have too much to say about this match. I really don't have too much detail, but I have a few notes that I can explain to you guys. I really thought this match was okay. I really enjoyed how Dom held his own without Judgment Day being on the side. It felt very great to see a match where Judgment Day doesn't get in the mix. AJ coming out in the Eddie Guerrero, I actually did like it. Thought it was creative. Their build-up was really good before they came to this championship match. I will say the styles of their in-ring styles really don't clash together well. But they managed to make it work and managed to execute, having an okay match with each other. Only criticism that I have is that the chair spot was kind of odd. It was very smart that Dominic Mysterio, played the move of Eddie Guerrero that he's made famous in his career. But with AJ putting it on his head, it was just like, okay, I understand, but with the ref turning around, that was just a weird moment. But it happened. Oh well. I don't understand that spot at all. But I do love the creative idea how Dom unzipped his shoe because he knew this. Because I love a good psychology play when it comes to in-ring. And when he did that, I absolutely loved it, how he captured the win. So that was my favorite part. But shout out to Dom. He had a great title defense and held his own. And that's all I can really say about this match. Alright. Next match is Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu in a steel cage match for the US title. Okay, before I get into the details of the match, I want to point out how Jacob Fatu in his presentation, I really absolutely love that mask. I really hope he comes out with it on every PLE because it just makes it feel a little bit more ready to see him and come down. And I just love how he's feeding into his character. I really enjoy watching Jacob Fatu anytime on my screen. He is very, very entertaining. Now, to the match. Watching steel cage matches over the years of watching wrestling, this was a good match because their styles complement each other. But this steel cage match was underwhelming. It just didn't feel like a steel cage match. It just didn't feel like it served a purpose because, okay, now I understand interference happened, but if that's the point of the steel cage, can we just keep everything out and keep the focus on telling the story between the rival, between Jacob and Solo Sikoa? The family getting involved, that was going to happen, but it definitely would have been nice if they didn't show up, or if they could have just showed up afterwards. Honestly, like, the interference just made it feel like they came in a little bit too early. it seemed like, oh, Jacob is winning and Solo was losing the upper hand, so let's help him out. And when it's just like Solo can really hold his own, I'm okay with interference if they make sense, but I really love when a wrestler can showcase their ability to hold their own. But Jacob held his own because my favorite part was the moonsault off of the top of the steel cage. That was a fire spot. I absolutely loved it. I love the no sale of what he did. That was really, really good. Jacob looked nice, but Solo Sikoa really didn't get showcased as much. And the ending of it, of just Solo just falling out the cage, was just kind of a poor ending. I kind of wish it was just a little bit better, where it was more seeing the battle of them climbing on top of the cage and both of them fighting to drag each other down. Solo finally just, kicking him off like, hey, boom. He climbs on the top and, wins on his own. But that's my only thing about the match. It wasn't a bad match. It was pretty decent. I do like how their moves, like I said in the beginning, would complement each other. I really love their ring styles. But in conclusion, this match was pretty okay. But still, just wasn't much of a steel cage match in my opinion. All right, for the main event time, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed Championship in a street fight. I don't know about y'all, but this wasn't much of a street fight to me. They could have just went for a no holds barred match instead of a street fight, because they kind of got to the street fight a bit too late. Not gonna lie, because I'm like, this doesn't feel intense at all. Build up wasn't bad. Build up was good. I liked it. And in the build up, Cody was acting like a heel a little bit. He was doing a lot of things that a babyface wouldn't do, like making the man sign the contract. It was kind of weird, Cody. It was kind of weird. But anyways, presentation for both of the wrestlers before they came out for the match was really nice. Cody's entrance was tough. I absolutely love that mask. 2, when John Cena came out and the Tron was black and white, and then when the colors popped up, I jumped of happiness when I seen that on my TV screen. Absolutely love that part. Now, just fun fact about me, John Cena is my favorite wrestler of all time. I have a list of wrestlers that I love, but John Cena is my top one just because of the fact that when I was watching wrestling, when I first got into it, he was the first champion that I seen. And that's what grew my love for John Cena then, and watching him over the years. He's never gotten away from that spot. And of course, the amount of times people, I'm like, oh, you like John Cena? Yes, I do. My likeness for Cena will never go away. But let's dive into this match. Let's talk about what happened. Now, this match was pretty cool. It was very slow. The pacing was all right. It made you curious, and there was a lot of things that went on that was really good. The spamming of the finishers, I'm not gonna lie, was kind of OD. I'm not gonna hold you on that. But what made up for this was how emotionally driven this match was. The story that they were telling was very, very good. The sequence that I absolutely loved was when John came up with Cody on his shoulders through the stage. That was hilarious. I love that part a lot. That spot where when they went out before going there, when Cody suplexed John into that rail, I was like, oof, that looked like it hurt. But other than that, the match was just a little stale in some places. It was kind of tough to kind of keep up with it, because it was just like, okay, what are we doing? It just didn't feel like a street fight to me. Like I said in the beginning, it could have just been a no holds barred, like anything goes, instead of a street fight, because it just didn't feel like that. But hey, Cody got the win. I'm kind of shocked, I'm not gonna lie. It was the passing of the torch, which was really cool. I feel like John Cena could have retained, I'm not gonna lie, because he didn't hold the title long enough for me, in my opinion, okay? But when the match was over, lo and behold, we didn't think when that music dropped that it would be Brock Lesnar's music. When Brock Lesnar returned, I was in complete shock. I'm not gonna lie. I looked at my TV and was like, there's no way. He came out, I was like, there's no way you're here. And then he attacks John Cena. And I'm just like, you know what? John Cena could have kept the title, if for all that. But curious to how everything's gonna go after this. Cody being champ again, and then now the beef and the rival between John and Brock is gonna be, revisited again. Kind of curious how that's gonna go. But hey, I'm actually not mad that Brock is back. I actually was kind of, throughout the year, was like, when is Brock coming back? Questioning when, because I'm like, not gonna lie, I kind of miss his matches a little bit. But yeah, I'm just as shocked as y'all. But that concludes my, thought on that match between John Cena and Cody. All right, conclusion time. My final thoughts of SummerSlam Night 2. As I said in the beginning, Night 2 was just unorthodox. I have to rate this a 6.5 out of 10. A little lower than Night 1, just considering the fact that these were all championship matches. Some of them, in my opinion, just a reminder as well too, these are just my opinion, it just really didn't feel like there was a pivot of where we're going to move forward in this era of the WWE. Like, it's leaving me confused and figuring out, like, Cody is champion now, where are we gonna go? John Cena losing the title, where are we gonna go with this? Alright, Solo went over at Fast 2 in an odd way, where are we gonna go with this? Becky and Naomi are the two champions that I have that I really enjoy and ready to see and excited to see. What the others are a little bit on the edge of, like, what are we doing? Where are we going? But SummerSlam 2 was enjoyable in certain moments, but overall, I thought SummerSlam as a whole was pretty decent, but I just feel like it didn't do enough pivot to show where this era of WWE is going. It just leads to confusion and excitement at the same time. We just don't know where we're gonna get. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope all is well with everyone. Leave your comments and opinions down below so we can start the conversation and see what you thought. And all right, until next time, peace.